The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, O Lord.
When Jesus saw the vast crowd, his heart was moved with pity for them, for they were like sheep without a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. By now it was already late, and his disciples approached him and said, "This is a deserted place, and it is already very late. Dismiss them so that they can go to the surrounding farms and villages and buy themselves something to eat." He simply said to them in reply, "Give them some food yourselves." But they said to him, "Are we to buy 200 days' wages worth of food and give it to them to eat?" He asked them, "How many loaves do you have? Go and see." And when they had found out, they said, 5 loaves and 2 fish. So he gave orders to have them sit down in groups on the green grass. The people took their places in rows by hundreds and by 50s. Then taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he said a blessing, broke the loaves, and gave them to his disciples to set before the people. He also divided the 2 fish among them all. They all ate and were satisfied, and they picked up 12 wicker baskets full of fragments and what was left of the fish. Those who ate of the loaves were 5,000 men. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Please be seated.
My dear brothers and sisters, we are now on the home stretch of the Christmas season. Next Sunday, this coming Sunday, we will be ending the season of Christmas. And last Sunday, we celebrated the feast of the Epiphany, the manifestation of Jesus Christ to all nations. And perhaps as a continuation to that manifestation, our gospel reading today presents another manifestation of Jesus, the manifestation of a God who is compassionate, a God who is generous, a God who truly loves his sheep. Here we see the popular gospel verse about the feeding of the 5,000, and it started because of the compassion that Jesus had for his sheep. A lot of people were with him. They stayed long hours with him listening to his teaching. And it was already late and no one has eaten yet. And Jesus felt the hunger of the people, not only spiritual, but also physical. That is why he wanted to give them something to eat. His disciples went to the practical route. They simply said, "There are too many of them. It's impossible to feed them. Just dismiss them. These are adults. They can find something to eat for themselves." But Jesus wanted to teach his disciples a very, very important lesson. He told them, "Give them something to eat yourselves." And I find those words very meaningful because he was teaching his disciples to do something extraordinary for people. He was teaching his disciples to go the distance, to do something more for these people. Because whenever you do something extraordinary for someone, when you go the distance for someone, it means that you truly love a person. Because a person who truly loves would not mind doing something out of the box. A person who truly loves would not worry about the effort that he would do for someone. Because that exactly is what love is all about. You do something more. You don't just do what is required, but you do something extraordinary. In other words, Jesus was teaching his disciples a lesson on love. If you want to love, do something more. Do it yourself. And sometimes you will find difficulty in doing that, but for a person who loves, who truly loves, it will never be difficult and it will never be impossible. This gospel passage is also significant since we are in the home stretch, as what I've mentioned, of Christmas, because it tells us the true spirit of Christmas. It is not just about celebration, but it is about taking on a mission. You know, there is a beautiful poem written by Howard Thurman, and it's entitled The Work of Christmas. And it goes like this: when the star in the sky is gone, when the song of the angels is stilled, when the kings are back home and the shepherds are back to their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To feed the hungry, to find the lost, to heal the broken, to set captives free, to rebuild nations, and to make music in the heart. And I find that poem very, very appropriate as we read this gospel reading, because it is about feeding people, it is about touching people's lives, and it's about being of service to others. Because that precisely is what Christmas is all about. Many times we complain that Christmas is a tiring season. It's a season where we gain so much weight, we complain so many things about it. But if we focus on what Christmas is all about, Christ became man so that we can have salvation, and it is about God giving us a mission. We have seen Christ born in the manger. Now, what are you going to do about it? Are you just simply going to keep the gifts and enjoy the gifts for yourself? No. The true spirit of Christmas is sharing whatever gifts we may have received during this season. In our gospel, the people only had 5 loaves and 2 fish. And yet, when they willingly shared that and gave it to Jesus, a great miracle was performed. Perhaps after this Christmas season, when we begin to share more, do something more extraordinary, go the distance, a great miracle can happen before our very eyes.